We need to talk about 8% mortgage rates. It has to crush the housing market. It has to stop.
Can we make the same mistakes over and over again? So we're just going to be freaking out about it for a short period of time, and then we're going to get over it. We just need a little bit of time to adjust. And then once everyone feels comfortable, okay.
Alrighty, folks, we need to talk about 8% mortgage rates for owner occupants and 9% mortgage rates for investors. It has to crush the housing market. It has to stop. It just doesn't function. What say you, Casey? Is the market all but dead?
I say there will be maybe a 6-week period, is from what I've seen, people freaking out until they get comfortable with it. I mean, first of all, we as humans have a short-term memory, right? That's how come we make the same mistakes over and over again. So we're just going to be freaking out about it for a short period of time, and then we're going to get over it. Just like when rates went to 5%, oh no one's going to buy. They did. After like a couple months, it was just back to normal. Then 6%. After about 2 months, everyone's fine with it. 7%. Hey, I mean, we just need a little bit of time to adjust. And then once everyone feels comfortable, okay, this is the new normal, there won't be any more hesitation. People will just be back out buying again. I remember in the 1990s, it was 1990, I don't remember, early 90s, when my parents bought their crack house that we lived in for 10 years. It was a crack house. When we moved there, it was not anymore. We found needles in the walls, all sorts of good stuff. Anyways, my parents got an interest rate, it was like 12 or 14%, and people were buying houses then. So, okay, so investors are at 9, homeowners are at 8. It's going to sting for a little bit, but then we're going to get used to it. And I think it's going to be fine.
Yeah, I think we have evidence of this. Again, we don't even have to go back that far. We can go back to August of 2022. I was interviewing Beth Traverso, top 1% agent in the country. And she said, Michael, the market has stopped. Now, to remind you what was happening in August of 2022, rates had just hit 6% for the first time. And she happens to operate in King County, which is a median price of 900 grand. So it's an expensive market. And she's like, nobody's coming into open houses. Nothing's going on, this, that, the other. If you go back to Beth's playlist, so that was August or July, you get back to September, October, transactions started happening again. So again, people got used to that. You fast forward to, I think it was March or April of this year, rates hit 6%, 6.5%. Nothing changed. Like, oh, we've been here. We know how to handle it. All of that. Rates hit 7%. Again, a little bit of a pause, a little bit of, ooh, that hurt, a little bit of cancellations. But again, people move forward. Just talked to her last week at 8%. And she's like, you know what? Really haven't seen much of a change. So what I think is happening is the move from 3 to 6 was so fast, so sudden, and a doubling that it was the most consequential. And it took the wind out of the sails for months. The move from 6 to 7, really not that big. The move from 7 to 8, while maybe it's a psychological barrier and it gives pause, it's not that big. So I think you're right. I think, certainly by next year, if we're still at 8%, it won't be that big of a deal.
I'm laughing on the inside because as you're giving these analogies, I've got one in my own head. And it's like having children. You have one kid, you go from kid 1 to kid 2. Oh, I've got 2 kids. And then you go from kid 2 to 3 to 4, and you're like, Now you got 4 kids, and you're on kids 5 and 6, and now you need a Sprinter van. And you're like, wait a minute, I changed my mind. What was I thinking? This is a huge change. So as you're saying that, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got in my mind this great analogy. And that's exactly what it's like with interest rates.
Oh, that's funny. You can get it, folks. Interest rates are just like kids. I have no idea. I only have one. So we never had to play zone defense. We were all good with one. So, Teresa, we love you. Thank you for coming home. It's fun to have you home this week. So at the end of the day, you think interest rates at 8%, 9% for investors, there's a little pause. It's the winter. It's already slow. But if we get there in the spring, people would be kind of used to it. It's kind of what you're thinking?
So now let's also remember that the homes still have to cash flow for this. And I think
Oh,
it
for sure.
is going to be harder to find deals. It's not going to be as easy. And so I think the new investors, the ones that don't have any other tactics under their belts, the ones that are just trying to, or just have just like last year, hoping that just rising prices would save any bad decisions, those people are kind of out. Now I feel like if you're in the 8 to 9% interest rates, you need to know what you're doing so that you
Mm,
can still capture good deals, and you need to understand value add, understand how to build equity, what's your exit plan, what's your other strategy going to be if whatever doesn't work out, whatever. I think that we're going to see more experienced investors stick around, and kind of the ones that were trying it out are going to be like, never mind, it's too hard, I can't find a deal the vanilla way, so I'll just maybe another time.
yeah. Yeah. This is definitely gonna be the time. I think what I'm calling this scenario is financial engineers are gonna get hurt. They're not operators, they're financial engineers. They got lucky with timing and zero rates. It's gonna be all about the good operators, the people that do the work, the people that budget for repairs, have reserves, um, make sure deals cash flow day one, 30-year fixed rate debt, all the stuff we talk about. It's gonna be harder. It's always hard. It's always
Yes.
hard. Uh, this would be a unique kind of hard, something we haven't experienced in a little while, but there's still plenty of opportunity. I think there'll be some great opportunity coming up in the next 6 to 9 months. So I'm excited. Um, Casey, final thoughts and where can people find you?
I think just my final thoughts are that like you just said, every single market has been hard. Last year, all the time, people ask me, Casey, whatever is going on in today's economy, is now a good time to buy? Is now a good time to buy? Is now a good time to buy? Every real estate season, I get asked that question. And the one thing we have to remember is that it was always better yesterday. Always. So let's not let this be a yesterday too, right? Next year, we don't know what's going to happen in 2024, but we don't want to say, oh, I wish I would have bought in 2023. Like that will happen. In 2022, people were like, why would I buy, Casey? Prices are through the roof. People are paying appraisal gaps. It's over asking. And I have to waive all of my inspections. Why would I want to buy today? And now I'm saying, don't you wish you would have bought yesterday? Because now we have today. And then what about next year? What are we going to be saying about today? So if the deal works, go for it. You're going to be so happy that you bought a property and you didn't wait.
Yeah. If
That's
the
just
deal works. Yeah. If the deal
yeah,
works.
if the deal works, of course. And don't stress too hard to make it work, make something work just because you're impatient.
Mm.
It will come. But anyways, that was just my final thoughts. But people can find me every day on Instagram at Brick by Brick Wealth, YouTube as well, and any other place. Just Google it, Brick by Brick Wealth.
Yes. Very cool. And she's here every Monday. She has an amazing playlist. Go check it out. Thanks, Casey.